Life can be unexpectedly rewarding. Okay. Cool. While at the same time not so forgiving. The seasons will change. But the patterns remain the same. You will have your victories, and you will have your failures. But the older I get, the more I come to realize it's what you do in these moments that truly define who you are.
So Nathan, what you see is what you get. I mean, he's a pretty open book kind of guy. He's going to tell you how it is, whether you like it or not, and that's also a great quality of his. He's so tenacious.
Good morning, guys.
He's probably one of the most go-getter people I have ever met. And I love that about him.
I mean, I've never met someone who has such high standards for their morals, but is also so humbled, so down to earth, and one of the most relatable people ever. And it doesn't matter if you live two different lives.
Gold stud, because I really like gold, or a tiny diamond.
Big life decision.
I know.
Right.
Nathan is a really good dude. I've been working for him for about 4.5 years, straight from the beginning of tattooing here, really.
He just sees something that needs to be done, and he does it. I mean, I don't think he ever really sees things that are hurdles. He's just, got to get this done. All right, done.
Ever since I've known him, he's been a great dad, and he's been a really good friend, and he's took care of me over the years.
He's just awesome in all those ways. And all of his clients adore him and specifically seek him out and travel here to come see him because he's that personality. He's that awesome human being.
He's very steadfast, puts his mind to it, and there you go.
Take a seat. Beautiful. And we're doubling down, right? I'm not crazy on the one side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
it's
Cool.
This right. It's gonna.
I have been piercing full time since 2009. I started in Portland, and I was working in a studio since 2007, but it was a full time commitment, all in since 2009. You gotta try not to touch them.
Okay.
That's a big no.
Okay.
Don't touch it. Body piercing history, is old as time. It's ritualistic. It's been done for so many reasons in every culture. Western civilization's just kind of on the brink of making it popular and socially acceptable. Put it in there so you can wear like the double hoop, same size, super easy. And then you'll see it. There's no surprises.
Yeah.
I'll clean things off, make a little mark.
Okay.
Make sure you like what's going on. It's kind of exciting time to be around.
As far as body piercing goes, I mean, we can go back hundreds and thousands of years to even tribal kind of nature of things. The history that I mainly highlight when I think about the history of body piercing and kind of what's made my industry what it is today is in the 70s, a guy named Jim Ward was piercing. He started a private studio out of his home initially in the mid 70s.
Jim Ward and Fakir Mustafar, they kind of started our industry. They're the forefathers.
And then soon enough, he eventually, with funding from his friend Doug Malloy, ended up creating a storefront and a studio in West Hollywood in 1978, and that was the Gauntlet. Those guys together have kind of pioneered through our industry by pretty much making theory, material, practice in general what it is today. With Nathan, I mean, I have all the respect in the world for him for building this whole experience for everybody and building the rapport that we have.
I mean, that's a satisfying noise. I'm done.
And then
Chicken smells like poop for some reason in the container. This is the finished prototype. That's the baby right there. It's even got a little dent in it from the hammer, and me inside of it still. Whoa. I would say my first piercing is what definitely, sparked that interest in the industry. I was working at a machine shop. Through my high school, there's a trade school affiliated, so I had 4 years of experience. I turn 18, I'm in a machine shop. I go to a lathe and turn my own piercing needle, which would also it's pretty identical to a biopsy punch is what I made. Little needle, I took over to my buddy Cupcake's house. And he is the man that put a little board behind my ear, laid myself on a wooden bench, and just hit it through with a hammer. And Cupcake's just the softest, most gentle guy. We love Cupcake. So, I mean, it was one of those, are you sure? But I just looked at a need and found it. I took my calipers. I found out I turned a 10-gauge O needle, essentially. I go to my buddy's house. I got a 2x4 and a hammer because it's got a big handle on it. I said, hey, man, we're going to hammer this through my ear. I got some jewelry. Let's do this. Big mistake. He barely hits that thing. I'm nailed to a board. You got the pry bar to rip this thing off my ear, and we got the ring in and it was great. And I was like, all right, round 2, we're going to hit it lighter. He got his architectural degree.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he's one of 3 architects for the Navy. He has the only land job for the Navy.
Did you guys go together?
No.
Oh.
No, we went to school together, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were at school together. That's where I met him.
Nice.
Yeah, he was the only guy in class that listened to heavy metal. We were going to the same concerts and things like that. And,
What was his name again?
we'll call him Cupcake. Yeah. In the machine shop, I was currently enrolled into PSU. I was working on an architectural degree. At the same time, I had a McDonald's and Safeway job. Whole mess of things, right? But I really needed to pay for rent. And I wanted a tattoo. I go to this artist. Immediately, we connected. I'm not for sure why that worked and kind of took me under my wing. I instantly am working at the counter of that shop. And within 2 months of working the counter at a tattoo shop, I'm instantly enrolled in a school to get my piercing apprenticeship. So I'm working in Portland, just trying to, just even gain experience. In the background at the same time, I'm building this addiction to alcohol, and drugs. That was a big part of the lifestyle too at that shop. And, there wasn't a whole lot left. I'm sitting in the southeast Portland. It is a pretty grungy, gnarly area where I was at. There's no food, there's no money. I don't even know if I paid rent. I don't even remember ever even paying rent for like 2 to 3 months, to be honest. It was a pretty rough times, and I'm sure somebody was just like, thank God they left finally. So I do get a charge on Highway 18, and I'm trying to figure out what's next in life. What do I do? The girlfriend at that time, she's just scrolling on Craigslist, and there was a little ad there, and she said, what about the coast? And we couldn't afford it. There was no possible way to do it. But stacking all these factors together, I'm not in a good crowd. I'm not in a good place mentally or physically. I need to get away from this. Deciding to leave Portland was definitely a big decision. We moved a lot around as a kid. I honestly have no real roots I can say. I think Portland was one of the longest places we ever lived. So leaving was kind of a big deal because it was the first place I really felt kind of established and connected to. And so seeing this breath of fresh air on the coast, you fall in love with it. You can't not want to be anywhere else. This is an amazing place to be in. And it was wonderful. You fast forward, I moved to Lincoln County. I actually had gotten married. I find out that we may not be able to pay the bills this month. I get a little stressed and find out the wife is pregnant. Cool. We are full 100% into piercing now. We have to devote everything to it. The little man's the best excuse ever. He definitely saved me. We're like 13 years sober this year, which is kind of exciting to say. But also at the same time, it really helped with the industry because I loved it. I was passionate about it. But now I had a really cool goal that I wanted to build this better lifestyle for him too. Newport had a tattoo studio that was looking to expand and add piercing. Crazy Eight's Tattoo, that was the birth of the studio. It was John and Taryn were the two main tattooists. They were both kind of fresh out of school, just starting to tattoo. I'm kind of in the same boat. I've only have about 2 years of playing in this industry. So, I would say nothing at 2 years. You're still learning, getting your feet wet. I actually wanted to get my neck tattooed, and Taryn was excited to do it. So that was kind of my in. I got my neck tattooed by her. There was a good back and forth conversation there. And I threw out the idea, hey, would you ever want piercing here? And then boom, it just kind of blossomed from there. John, when he retired, we met this cool marketing company that said, hey, you should rebrand. Ever since we rebranded and switched to a Go, it's all just been uphill since there. It's been wonderful, just getting better and better and better, and no complaints. Day one, we're building a Go now. That's really the next step, right? We don't really have any tattoo artists at this time. And that's when Miles comes into play, really.
I met Miles on my first day of work here. He was tattooing away. It's kind of crazy thinking of how he is now, being like months booked out and doing all these tattoos that are exactly his style. Whereas like then when I'd come here, I mean, he was still taking walk-ins pretty regularly.
For working with Miles, he's a super chill dude, super relaxed. I definitely love getting my tattoos from him because he's super like open, loves to talk.
Miles is this young aspiring tattoo artist that I had met in the past, and he shows up and he's like, I'm ready to do this. He's got a family to support, and it's been magic. Miles is like a brother. I love that guy.
I met Nathan way back when I was going to high school because I would see him at the rec center sometimes. I knew Nathan was part of the shop, and I'd bump into him every there, and I'd kind of ask him questions, kind of help me out, like, hey, yeah, do this, do that, all the correct steps to become a tattoo artist. And I managed to get that together, and then job shot at John, who was the old owner of the shop, and Nathan took over afterwards. Then we changed the name to Go. When I decided I was going to be a tattoo artist, I told my mom what I was going to be, and she was 100% for it and supportive. And she's like, do you remember when you got in trouble in 3rd grade or 2nd grade? I was like, no, I don't remember. She's like, you got called to the principal's office. I was good at drawing. I was drawing a little design with like some magic markers. And one day I just decided during recess to post up by the trees, and I started drawing on kids' arms. I got called up to the principal's office. She's like, Miles, you can't charge kids for stuff on school grounds. And I was like, oh. And she's like, yeah, you have to give them money back. So I ended up giving the money back. And I forgot about that until then, and then my mom reminded me of that. And she was like, I think you're just meant to be a tattoo artist. And I was like, I guess so.
The Alex, she responded to an ad. Well, her boyfriend responded to the ad at the time, now husband.
I met Nathan when my stepkids had come to get their first year piercings. Past that, my husband was coming here for years when we were just dating.
A client of mine had gotten multiple piercings from me. He was friends with me on Facebook.
And then when Nathan had posted a job opening, he was like, this would be perfect for you. I was looking for work, and so I ended up applying.
There was a lot of applications, and she killed it.
That's how it all began.
I've known Alex for 3 years since she first started working at the shop. And yeah, she's pretty awesome ever since she started.
Working with Alex, I mainly work with her because I started off actually working at a Go on Sundays and Mondays, which there were no tattoo artists there normally. So it was normally just me and her on the weekends. And so I got to know Alex really well. She's a super outgoing person. She's super fun to be around. I love working with her.
Not to mention, she's just really inviting to anyone goes into the shop. She's instantly talking to them and making them feel at home. And such a kind of chill, cool presence that makes people very very welcome and inviting. And yeah, everyone loves Alex.
You know, I started when people were still trying to figure out the appropriate material to put in people. You know, let alone have a proper needle, let alone having access to those materials. So it's really cool to see the industry evolve. I think anybody getting pierced, especially in this day and age, should be familiar with the Association of Professional Piercers. You can visit safepiercing.org. They'll map everyone out. I think it's really simple requirements. They just really want to make sure that the environment's safe and that they have the proper jewelry to pierce you with. In most states, you just are a piercer. You pay like a $60 fee, you pierce people. There's no license requirements, there's no education requirements, and that's kind of terrifying for a lot of people.
What's this here? This is a sanitizer?
Autoclave, yep.
Yeah.
At 7 minutes, we're ready to pierce. So typically, paperwork's done in like 2 minutes. I set up, I go grab them, and then this should start beeping by the time they're prepped.
That's awesome.
So the association's really cool for that, just to make sure that there is a safe place near to home. One piercer did this for me at a studio at like 5 years. But timing it so the tools are still warm is huge. Because it just feels so comforting rather than having this cold, stark tool.
For real.
The goal in this studio is really to make it fun and approachable. I think if you were to talk about the history and maybe go back when this industry started, shops were kind of scary. You know, you might get confronted pretty abruptly when you walk through a studio. And we're here to provide a service. We want to treat you like family. You know, things are constantly changing, and we want to be on the forefront to make sure people are taken care of as best as possible.
It's awesome. That's probably one of the most favorite part of my job is just meeting people.
Tons of fun. We probably have more fun than we should at work.
We definitely have a blast, and it's definitely because Nathan, he definitely is a very big people person.
And that's what's cool about tattooing is I meet all these different people from different backgrounds and different worlds and different lives. Some people don't want to talk. Some people are going through really crazy personal things and they want to kind of let it off their shoulders. More down to just chat with you or, you know, just if you got a funny story or whatever.
It's cool that I can say everyone in the studio are parents. You know, we understand how to, you know, approach the children for their first piercings and stuff and have that one-on-one experience with our own kids. And it's fun to be able to be a part of everyone's families. So I want people to know that we're here to provide a safe, clean, friendly, fun environment. The people are what make the studio what it is and make the job so fun and amazing.
That's the cool part about where I'm at with the piercing industry is because we work on, you know, people as small as little tiny kids who are getting their first earlobe piercings all the way up to that woman in her 90s who's like, you know what, I've never had my ears pierced before. I think I'm going to give it a shot.
Immediately off the top of my head, the coolest thing is like the little 3-year-old that walks in the studio. She's kind of scared and timid, you know, and I know I'm a tall, bigger guy, so I get on my little tiny chair and we kind of have a conversation together and see what's going on. And it's cool to watch them open up and they get like this little bit of confidence and they're like, I think this is the day. And they walk out, you should see their chests all pumped up. You know, they're just like strutting. Not everything is like this big influential, you know, first piercing, last piercing. Sometimes it's a death. Sometimes it's a celebration of life. There's so many cool reasons people get pierced.
With tattoos and piercings and why people get them, I feel like it's such a huge spectrum. It would be way too difficult to try to explain each and every color of the rainbow in that world of things. But it could be something as simple as that person just wants that. They just want their nose pierced, or they just want that tattoo of a cat hula hooping, you know?
There's definitely been a lot of experiences with different clients over the years that definitely affected me in a good way. There's so many people with varied lives and you know, just different things that happen to them. So it really makes you more empathetic.
I think it'd be a cool story to mention, talking about people. Just even this week alone, a woman had her mother pass suddenly and she never got to say goodbye. And she said one of the coolest moments for her is that her mom asked her to pierce her ear. And she said it was scary and kind of terrifying for her, but she pierced her mom's ear for the first time. And that was a huge thing for her. And her mom really likes purple. And she said, I want to have that experience to remember her. And so I got to pierce her ear. She's crying. I'm trying not to cry. I'm giving her a hug. You know, and those moments are really cool to share with people, you know.
I don't know that Nathan really ever encounters challenges. Nathan really, he's grown the business, so that's been quite wonderful, but I don't think it's ever been a challenge for him. I can't believe how he can have such determination and tenacity with it. It blows me away.
I mean, you can't really pinpoint somebody who is more like patient, understanding, a mentor, a boss, you know, whatever you want to call him. As a friend, he's a great person. I'm lucky to know him. Everybody else is lucky to work with him here, you know.
He's definitely someone that a lot of people do look up to due to his bodybuilding that he does. Since this town is heavily on sports, a lot of the younger generations like to look up to him. I've heard stories that I guess there's a couple of my old friends that have gone to his gym and he's actually given them tips to help them while he's working out and such, and I think that's amazing that he does that.
I think if I didn't have those influential people in the beginning supporting me along the way, I probably wouldn't still be sober. The science charities are really kind of fun for us. And I think drug court's got a really cool setup. And so we try and fund them as much as we possibly can. You know, I feel totally blessed to be allowed to pierce in this community. The community is so supportive and so tight-knit. This is an amazing place to be in. First and foremost, you know, it's God first, family, studio, gym. And for life, you will have your victories and have your failures. But the struggle makes it what it is. If I could do it all over again, yeah. It's been a lot of fun.